All right, welcome everybody to another week of the NUEL PUBG Winter Championship. We are going to be getting straight into the action here. I am, of course, Scriv, and joining me this week, for the first time in quite a while, it's going to be myself and John Allen bringing you the action.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. PUBG as well. One of these real good fun games that the NUEL has now brought into the fold, which first season of, and I think it's time to get underway with some of the action and see how these teams are going to continue to stack up. Obviously, we've had standout performances over the course of the week. A little bit sparse this time around. 44 players in the lobby with 11 teams, so everyone should be able to take their pick of where they want to go. But already we've got a little bit of a close fought situation over here. Team 17, and I think that's 20 or 28 or 26. I have to actually look at the numbers there. 25. There we go. I saw it in the end.
Got there in the end, but yeah, there seems to be a bit of interesting kind of, maybe land a bit out of the way in a reasonably sized kind of area. But as you can see, Team 25 is a little bit split as well. So in some ways that could work for them, but because there are three players sort of in towards the middle, maybe the kind of early weapon pickups are going to be quite important for this very early meeting between these two teams. We will have to find out. Dplex making a lot of noise, not really too fussed. Maybe they're not aware that they've landed around each other as well. The nature of obviously being in first person, it's a little bit more difficult to be aware of your surroundings, but at the same time, he's also kind of hightailing it out of that little compound. Doesn't seem to fancy the action too much.
Yeah, well, he's gonna have figured out that his team's coming under fire. Two of them already going down. They just gonna get. I lose the one, just the one so far. Mobster able to get that final blow there, but he does go pretty low in the process. So he's gonna have to soak up some of those meds.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. I'm not quite sure where the rest of the team are. Were there only two of them coming in this week initially? But for now, they have been slightly weakened. Take a quick look at the map. Try and decipher where some of these other teams are playing at this point in time. But yeah, a bit of early action and an early pickup. Generally not what you see too often. Teams like to try and land apart to obviously loot up and get some decent gear going, but a little bit unfortunate there initially, I suppose.
Yeah, with the Southern Circle as well, though, that's something you really want to be paying attention to in terms of, where you're going to be looking to land, where you're looking to go. The plane was actually on the western side of the map, which is why we're seeing such a concentration down that file. But everyone's going to have to start to move south. You've got people over in Zaki, right at the other end of the map. So they're going to have to make a relatively fast move, relatively fast decision to make that move as well. So it's all going to be on whether they can find those vehicles, whether they can get through, but they're going to have to fight through quite a lot of ground because, as I said, that western file is going to be so chock full of players that they're just going to have to try and frag through.
Kind of difficult to say early on as well. Like we've said, there's quite a few players who seem to be standing out. So it's sort of depending, I think, on maybe a little bit of some of the lesser players who we sort of talked a little bit. The average does seem to be like one frag, really, not like a great deal of kills coming in across the board. So I think a lot of these teams are going to want to start off and get geared up and ready and moving like at quite a good pace, like you say. But obviously they want to be feeling comfortable and ready for that, as the nature of this kind of tournament is. There are some players who are going to quite easily be able to dominate if you come across them, going to understand all the nuances of PUBG and how all the different weapons work and how to work in the situation that they currently have. So they do really need to be careful across the board.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing the map there, you saw team number 5 just able to, they completely split off from each other. They are basically playing solos into squads right now. Going to be looking to pick up as many kills as they can on the way through, try and get that loot and try and not disperse it. You can see one of those loot crates there very close to Team 17 with the MK14, a hugely powerful DMR. Obviously all of that armor and helmet and backpack as well, but that DMR is absolutely brutal. If you can get those shots off, if you can get that position, it's so difficult to deal with, and even with high-level armor, it's just going to shred straight through that. So a very nice pickup for Team 17. As you can see, Team 5, they're really split. You've got someone down near the ferry pier, you've got someone up to the north, you've got everywhere completely covered.
Oh, but this bike coming in here from Team 25, they do need to be a little bit careful. Maybe even going to try and go for the drop, but obviously not going to find a great deal, and an easy pickup comes in for Attica. Just kind of hiding a little bit, baiting it out. They got to that loot box, you know, so quickly there. It just makes for a pretty easy pickup.
You told me to myself. Hey, come on.
It would seem they're not too happy about it. It would seem. Magical farts, great name. Bit of comedy coming in from him.
Yeah, he's pleading for his life, but unfortunately, it's not going to be. The mercy isn't going to be shown this time around. Nobody really over onto that sort of main chunk of military island, but you've got a couple of teams over in Novo, some people moving over that eastern bridge as well, which is pretty treacherous, but if you make that move early, you come up against a lot less resistance, so some teams capitalizing on that downtime. And they are going to start to loot up. The loot, of course, the spawn tables were changed a little bit of time ago now. You know, those crates not as good as they once were in order to get that loot up. So maybe a little bit sparse, somewhere that you have to invest into. You can see Team 10 have taken position over that eastern bridge. They'll be holding down that position. A couple of players over towards Quarry, but for now, only 2 players gone down. It's 7.5 minutes in.
Yeah, so a little bit of a slower start, I think, kind of due to the fact that obviously we've got a few players less than normal, but it does seem, you know, 17-25 they've been seeing most of the action, and 25 already down to 2 players is not really great. I think that's another thing to kind of consider, where there's only been a couple of kills, they've both been on the same team, so there is one team decisively very, very weak compared to everybody else across the board. So it's not really too great for them at this point in time, but it does appear that the zone is kind of coming in slowly but surely.
Yeah, I mean, this first circle, it's very, very slow, and those teams in the north, they will be pushed. They will move a little bit faster than they can go, just because of the positioning of that circle. But they should be able to find plenty of vehicles, and it should be pretty easy to make it up there. You can see Team 1, they're taking control of this ferry pier area. There you go. And they are just holding out on these mountains. This is a really strong position for them. There's so much terrain cover. There's so many trees that they can dart between. And as long as they have those weapons on board, they're going to be able to hold it very, very consistently. And you've got teams like 17 you can see on the edge. They're maybe looking to move down, but there's no rush on them just yet. The first circle hasn't even closed, and they're still in the zone. Niels, spotted out Team 5 making a move in those boats towards the shoreline, but he thinks better of taking the engagement. He is on his own at the moment. Just getting some info for his team.
Ooh. A little bit awkward up the hill. Gosu shy. Just kind of, again, a little bit alone, but sort of being followed, as you can kind of see on the minimap there, by quite a few different vehicles, in fact. So they've actually got quite a lot of control in team number 14. I think we talked a little bit in the pre-game. Gosu Shai is one of those stronger players. If I just have a quick little look across to the points and everything, I think he is up there in terms of the kills and whatnot. So
yeah, he actually is playing for the top placed team at the moment, named Pro Players, by the way. What a name that is. I really quite dig it. And they are sat at the moment at just over 4,000 points on that score table, which is pretty impressive. And as you said, he's one of their top fraggers. Going to be able to try and keep that one rolling.
Yeah, pretty important for that team as well. I believe it's one of DMU's teams. They need to kind of keep consistent, because the top 3 spots especially, there is quite a close discrepancy between them, and a win giving you, 400 points. So, even coming something like 5th, if your opponents, so it's Kiel, Swansea as 2nd and 3rd respectively, if your opponents aren't keeping up consistently and getting those kind of even top 5 kind of placings, you can quite easily take over, it would seem. Those top 3 positions, like I say, really under contention. Then it does kind of drop a little bit with the Warwick Stretchy Boys almost 1,000 points behind Swansea. So
these are the Squishy Boys, not the Stretchy Boys.
This is my bad. These are the Stretchy Boys PUBG version.
Absolutely, but Team 1, oh dear, Luca. He's going to be a real sticky situation right now. He's run into a compound with 4 players from the Kiel team. He's managed to get one down, though. He isn't going to go for the refrag, though. And they are just going to close him down. Neil's able to get that one done. Omni Toaster, the only casualty, will get that first down.
Yeah, they're a little bit ready for perhaps a bit of a return fight from his teammates, but unfortunately, He's a little bit ahead, maybe kind of scouting out. That's sort of fair enough, but puts himself, like you say, in a sticky situation by stopping at that compound. I think maybe in the the two-seater motorbike, obviously it's pretty speedy. Maybe could have carried on driving past as opposed to trying to stop and take the fight, but trying to do what he could in that situation. It's a little bit of a shame. And Team 1, I think, just kind of looking on the hood here, I think that's going to put them down to 2 players as well, which might be a little bit awkward for them. Bit of action here, though. I think it
might have been 3. I think it might have been 3. Just some long-range shots coming in. 4. This is the pro players, by the way. Yeah, again, DMU going in for those long sniping shots. Of course, they've got that SKS, they've got those DMRs on board, and they are going to be trying to take those pot shots going in. But for now, not going to find their mark just yet, and that's still all to play for. The second circle going to start to come in. It is going to be a southward shift again, moving closer to that military island. Very, very dangerous, and there's a lot of water in here, which is going to make for some dramatic movements into the next circles.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit more action coming in. There's obviously a lot of vehicle play, which good for your movement. Or look at this, a bit of a high-speed chase. I'm not sure they're going to 100% go for this because, as you can see, quite split up. There's no way that they could get shots off, but nice to see, to be fair. A little bit of observing coming in. They've actually got 4 vehicles. This pro players, by the way, team, so much control, like you say, of this watery kind of area, where obviously the lack of land means that you kind of want to stay away from it. And those vehicles are going to give a great amount of map control and ability to just move around and pull off flanks and things like that. So really do need to be careful here. They're hoping maybe that the circle is going to come their way. They're just holding on that ferry pier. But there's a good few teams coming in towards that angle, actually, that have all been on the mainland.
There's to be honest, the strongest position right now is with the Kiel squad. They're over on that western side of the military island. They have control over the seas. They brought so many boats with them as well, which is going to make crossing the estuary, crossing that river, all the harder for the rest of these players. And they're just going to have to really try and scrabble across that bridge, which makes that more deadly as well. So at the moment, I'm looking at Kiel. I'm thinking they have a really, really strong position. Hopefully, they're going to be able to hold on to it. But with players breathing down your neck, like the pro players, by the way, the DMU squad, it is going to be pretty tricky to hold on to.
Yeah, certainly, and obviously this is the oldest map in the game, so they're going to be quite comfortable with it, already being relatively strong players.
Oh, dear.
Lion. Bit of drifting coming in.
There we go.
Thankfully not punished, I suppose, as they're actually going to try and preemptively swim across here before the next zone even comes in. You've already got the pro players, by the way, going for it. So yeah, this is a great position for Team 6, actually. A drowning from Danidello, that's a little bit of a blunder. Maybe he was getting shot at as well, so that's a little bit awkward.
Yeah, they are just trying to make the break for it. It's really, really difficult to make the move, to make the decision where you want to go when there's players just so capable of hitting these shots, like the Kiel squad. Even when you're swimming, I mean, you can see, like, he's just trying to plink those shots away. They just need to wait for those shots to hit, and it's like a bit of target practice at this stage, and they're just waiting for the shots to hit. But they are at pretty decent range, about 500 meters or so. Pretty tricky to hit them, but they're still chipping away at the health bars.
Yeah, meanwhile, we've got young Snoo, it would seem. I think he's picked up a few kills, or a down and a kill, over on the other side of things. But yeah, this is sort of the important thing, because it's kind of, where do you go from here as well for Team 2? You know, you're getting shot at in the water. Sure, you might be able to extend your life, but surely as soon as you come out of that water, already having been chipped down a little bit, like you say, they're just going to be able to get some easy pot shots on you while your speed kind of changes a little bit getting out of the water, so you become a bit of an easier target. Oh,
look at this. It's all
sidelines from Team 6.
All the Navy SEALs just trying to make it across. You've got so many people aggressing. You can see Niels just hitting those shots yet again. As I was saying, these Kiel boys, they've got such a strong position. The Team 2 were trying to just move around that headland towards the bridge, because even that is going to be safer than being shot on from all of these angles that they're getting aggressed at. Team 14, they're still slowly making their way around towards this military island, and at the moment, they're going to really struggle to land it, because they can see those boats on the shoreline. They will know that there's players there waiting for them, and the Kiel boys, again, really strong.
Yeah, it's great positioning. As yet, not quite getting the rewards that they would want, but given a bit more time, they should be able to pick a few fraggies.
There we go. Again, it's going to shift in the favor of Kiel. There's such open ground there, but there's Team 2 with actually a player in the midst of things could maybe find a little bit of a position for the rest of his team who are over by that bridge, but it's still pro players trying to push across the river. They're trying to push across that water. For now, they managed to land one player. The rest of those three just trying to find that safe ground that has been allowed to the rest of them. But at the moment, oh, it's going to be Gosu going down in the water. Instant kill there.
Yeah, this is really good as well, because again, you have to think about these matchups, right? Kiel sat in second spot. If they're able to take down some numbers of that top spot, talked about earlier about how close it is, this is quite important for them, not only in the context of this game, makes it a bit easier, taking down some of the more formidable opponents, but also, you know, it looks good for your points if you're able to finish above the DMU side here. Another kill coming in for Kiel onto Kisus. This is really difficult for them. Maybe should have gone a bit earlier or a bit later in towards this zone, tried to stick around in the water for a bit longer. The straight swim across really has not worked. As you can see though, Team 3, you know, are a little bit later. Team 17 a little bit later. They may well be able to get away with this, avoiding this great positioning from Kiel, who are, you know, holding so vehemently, as they've now kind of dropped back, picked up a few kills, and looking to go get a good spot in the next zone.
Yeah, Team 1 now have a really good stronghold by the coastline. They are just holding. You can see that they have actually quite a central position as well. The next circle has moved towards them, which is going to mean that they really do have that strong position looking forwards. They know that they have the Kiel to the north, although they would have been hearing all of those gunshots. 9 as well, in a decent spot. The next circle should be moving to them. This is pretty dangerous, but we are on Atomical, who is actually the top fragger in the tournament as of the last count, which was before this game. That might have changed, however, with Kiel racking up most of these early frags.
Yeah, for sure. He does seem to have himself a pretty decent setup, though, on the AK and the M24. This M24 could be absolutely devastating, kind of bringing in a bit of a new sort of meta into the game, I suppose, when they brought this as a more accessible weapon from time to time. Although, obviously, they could also have retrieved it from a loot crate, but or a downed opponent. Who knows? Young Snoo, though, going to end up going down, drowning in the water. I believe that's going to completely wipe out Team 25 now, so a little bit awkward. Gibby here with...
Press Mini. It's a pretty dangerous weapon to come up against. He's got a lot of cover as well.
Pretty scary, to be fair. A bit of a down coming in as well. The finish trying to come in from Gibby, but not quite able to find it. They might just be able to get the res off. As, again, you know, just trying to keep a good spot that they've got. This is obviously the Warwick Squishy boys here. That one I do know, because Gibby is also a part of their CS team, I believe. So
yeah, he wasn't able to hit those long shots, though. He should have just been able to clean finish that guy. Maybe they were trying to bait a player to move in, but instead they're just going to go for the vehicles. Relatively smart, stop those rotations coming in. And again, Team 9 is going to look to continue to hold. Yeah, the Warwick team, they have the mountainside.
yeah, there's a really good spot and a really good kind of split from them so far, but not a great deal happening, as we're just going to move back to team number 11. They've got themselves some building control, which can be kind of effective. Does always depend, you know, on where this next zone goes. They might end up finding themselves having to run from the building out into the open.
Letters above them.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit awkward, to be fair. You've just kind of noticed that. No sound being made by that player above them, so he might just... Oh, they are so close here. Is he just out on the balcony to the right there?
In the room.
A bit awkward. Oh, goodness.
You're going to know exactly that there's people there.
Yeah, for sure. They've made so much noise right now. But he's all by himself. Does he want to take this fight? That's the real question. Or does he want to just try and prolong and survive? Are they going to check him out? Oh, walking right in front, surely.
Oh, this is so close. This is really, really nice patience coming out from the Team 5 player, Deathblade. Unfortunately, he's not living up to his name at the moment. Well, you know, it might not be unfortunate in the end. The rest of his team, they're all alive and kicking. They've got some great intel right now, and to be honest, the window that he's holding next to isn't really that worth peeking. There's not really that many angles that they can go for in terms of actually holding that room, so he's in a very safe position. The fact that he hasn't been spotted out is not a miracle. You can see he's just holding his nerve, holding that doorway. We'll spot some players outside to go for the move, but it's dangerous. He also opens some items now.
It's going to start to come in. Oh, he takes down one, not quite able to get any more than that. Surely feel like he should have picked up a little bit more. They were so stacked on top of each other, but not able to get the trade in. He has now downed and taken down Angelical Boar, and he kind of has this advantage of, you know, position and the fact that maybe the communication isn't so great.
Dangerous.
They're going for the res as opposed to trying to push into him. He has kind of moved a little bit. Atomical taking point as they've just sort of moved into the different house, you know, gaining a little bit more of control of this sort of compound. Deathblade, yeah, I think he might just take the one and maybe try and escape if he can. Spots out the player in towards the door. There's a little bit of damage, but not a great deal.
He needs to be careful here. He really does, because there's players, they know exactly where he is, and there's 3 of them. They're going to start to push, and it's just a quick clean-up for Fieta, taking the vengeance kill.
Indeed. I feel like it was a bit of a difficult situation there. Maybe could have gotten away. This I suppose I can see why he split off from his teammates. Yeah.
There we go.
Because they've taken the only 2 spots.
Everyone on Team 5 at the moment playing close to the enemy. They're keeping their enemies close at the moment. You can see as well Team 2 just a little bit further north of them as going in as well. The circle, again, just going very central. The kills starting to come through. 9 teams do remain. We've had 2 teams go out so far. Got plenty of contention coming in, though, and actually a couple of shots going through. I think that was from... yeah, it is towards Team 10. See if they can withstand the pressure from Team 1.
It all kind of depends. Are Team 5 going to move in behind them or stay in these kind of sneaky positions that they're in right here? Paul Collins on the M4, pretty damn strong weapon, as it has been for quite a while.
There's a flank kill over onto Team 10. Team 11, Fieta, yet again, in that compound we saw earlier. He managed to get down on the cliff. Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
This is kind of the worst position to be in, really, isn't it, for Snips the Wookiee? He knows that he's spotted out. The only thing that he has is the boat, and he's just hoping that the circle doesn't move too far away from him. Obviously, I think it is, because he's right on the edge there at the moment, but it kind of depends on which sort of side it ends up going towards.
This is a 3-point
we should find out in just a second. Yeah, this is a little bit all over the place right here. There's players everywhere on a lot of teams. You know, Team 2 really close. Team 5, they seem to have a bit of an idea here. You know, Piangneg25RU, great name, I suppose. He's a bit aware maybe there could be some players behind him, but they've not really shown themselves yet, so he's really unsure. They're playing it so passively on Team 5, as you can see, just going to start to creep around, and I think this might just be the end of this flank.
He's taken
down easily enough.
There we go. They are going to finish it up. All the players here, though, do have to move, and with that information, Team 10 will know that Team 5 are around. They know there's players lurking. There's still a Team 11 player on the flank. Everybody's going to have to move north, because this circle is going to push them in 26 seconds.
Snips manages to get away. Screaming Radish takes down Bucko as he kind of dropped off the cliff that he was on to get a bit of a jump. But yeah, Team 5 really coming alive in the past few moments. And they don't lose that player, you know, that was trapped in by Team 2. So they are quite heavily split, but it's still a pretty doable situation for them. Missed shot for Fieta. Tries to go for it again, obviously suppressed. Yeah, Greenie being down, he's just kind of left him. Oh, Team 5 coming in on the side. Fieta doesn't spot them out. They're running right next to each other. He does eventually see them as the zone starts to come in, but he's not really hitting the shots. An absolute mess. He downs one, but gets traded out by Screaming Radish, who now has a decision to make. Is he going to leave his teammate? I think he's going to have to at this late stage of the game. So I suppose trading 1 for 1 on the side of Fieta is not all bad for Team 11. Atomical seems to have a pretty decent spot, and Screaming Radish is so low here.
They are going to have to push it forwards. There's a med kit being popped up from Team 5 that's going to bring him back to that full HP. No one really at his back. He's just going to have to fight through. At the moment, Team 5 in a very precarious position. Team 2 split up on these little rocks, on these islands. There's a Team 10 player. It's going to get finally taken down as actually Team 5 no plays is going to be taken down by the blue.
Yeah, I think he was that downed player a little bit earlier on that Screaming Radish had to leave, but I suppose it pumps the numbers up a little bit that he didn't get finished off while down. Atomical here on the Orm seems to have upgraded his sniper. As you can see, though, the only one remaining for Team 11. Top fragger still, as he finds the headshot on towards Gibby to drop him. There's a number of players alive on that Team 9, though, so they're probably going to be able to help him out. Oh, not quite. Atomical will finish him off, though. He knows that there's a player behind him as well, but can't quite get the drop on him as it's such an awkward angle. Snips, you know, with these cliffs. Is he even going to be able to get up if this zone moves away from him here? I think he is really finding himself in a pretty tough situation. Atomical can definitely hear him. Trying to get the nade down. Right click. Going to be coming in just a second. This is not generally a situation you put yourself in very often, though. As I think he thinks Snips is a bit deeper down that cliff than he is. But for now, I don't think there's an immediate threat.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to really struggle to actually land those nades. It's just a tiny little ledge, and to cook them for just the right amount of time, very, very difficult. The question is the rest of Team 5 going to be able to push up in time? But no, the spray's there. Atomical still holding on to that top fragger namesake for now. Already got 2, make that 3. He is going to get the finish. A lot of encounters going on right now across the map, though, as the next circle's going to start pushing pretty soon.
Yeah, we've got so many players alive here. I think this is kind of one of the things with having a smaller group. Initially, there's not as many fights, but it comes into the end of the game. And nice shot from Somewhat. Good little follow on the bullets. Finds the kill, of course, because he was... Oh, really? Atomical, bit cheeky. Bit cheeky. And now Somewhat's kind of caught a little bit here. Not sure of where he's getting shot from. As Atomical seems to be in a bit of a sticky pickle. Screaming Radish, though, going to get taken down once again.
That was the last 5. That was the last Team 5 player, which means it was an instant kill. And again, Atomical, he's now on 6, at least 7 kills, or I think his team is.
This is an absolute bloodbath right now. Team 9 gets eliminated as well in a matter of seconds, to be fair. Yeah, just taking a look at the kill feed, it's all Team 6 ripping them apart. Must have gotten caught a little bit out in the open. I feel like Team 6 kind of have the best spot here, you know, having already all 3 players still alive, trying to stop the revive from coming in. It will be the finish off by Epoch, I believe, on that car. Been doing work in the past few moments, and as you can see, Atomical's been eliminated in all of this as well. Atka,
oh dear,
taking the rewards of battle. But again, just kind of stuck on these cliffs here, trying to find... They know there's players below them, but it's all about trying to find the right angle, as he will land a quick headshot to drop Crumple Fly. And manages almost to take down Fatal Slug. 7 HP left on him, as he just has to heal up and back away for a second.
Yeah, we'll be able to get that done, but we've really been quiet about Team 6 and the Heal Squad. This whole time, they have just been so safe, so secure. They've only lost 1 player, and the rest of these teams, there's only 6 alive. There's only 3 other solo players in this game right now, Scriv. There's 3 players alive. They're in a 3v1v1v1, and it's just really, really strong for them. Off the back of that early strong position, they've just been able to rack up these kills. They have 11 to their name. Epoch with 6 and Niels with 5. This is absolutely insane. You can see he's got the Groza, he's got the car. He's going to be an absolute powerhouse around this shack as well, because they have control of the majority of this circle, with the next one moving in just 2 seconds. It's all going to be on how that position goes, and it falls straight in their favor. You see Team 2, they've managed to get to that top 3 position. They are going to be pretty chuffed with that. The more they can survive, the more points they will earn. Both Team 2 and Team 1 still have that 1 horse in the race.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, you talk about the fact that they were all 3 remaining solos. They're kind of dealing with themselves. So that allows Team 6, and especially Epoch, like you kind of mentioned, to push up a bit further and get a bit of a drop on these players, not having to give away their own position in order to pick up kills. So certainly doable for them, and we have to look here again. These cliffs so hard to scale. I feel like Zachary might be able to get up. It's kind of difficult to tell looking at the terrain of the map. TEC Reed is doing his best as well to do the same, but I think they may well have just been a little bit screwed by the zone, in all honesty, and it's going to make it quite hard to get up in time. You know, you kind of have to think about that as well. 10 seconds before the next one comes in, and you don't really have the option of, I can stay in the zone a little bit at this point in time, because of how much damage it does at this late stage. Phase number 7. Yeah. I can't really give you the exact numbers, but it's a hell of a lot. Put it that way. We're about to see Reed get
starting to
demolished.
move in as well. You can see he's really, really panicking right now. He's into the water, which is absolutely devastating, because it means he's going to move so much slower. If he goes down, it will be an instant death as well. He has to just move around this headland, has to really struggle to actually get towards a position that he can scale these cliff sides. And you can see that damage is ticking so hard. In the meantime, however, Team 1, Their player, Sutby Zachary, trying to make his way across these open fields, but he only has a couple smokes out. It's going to be down, and to the blue goes the final kill. It's Team 6, the Kiel squad, coming up absolutely huge with a 12-kill game.
Yeah, and a very important one for them to win. Going to get a lot of points on the board because of that. As you can see, Neil's all the way up there, I believe. Top fragger, it would look like, I think. Atomical's kind of up there with 5 as well, so it's a little bit difficult to tell. But yeah, I think Epoch having the game of his life, basically, kind of carrying the team a little bit. But I think, not even, to be fair, in terms of frags, maybe, but they worked so well together and had such a great position, and then knew when to drop back, and were like, right, the next zone's come in. You know, we saw them earlier on when they were taking down players coming across towards the military base island, and they were just so clean, you know, and so collected, not getting greedy for frags. They pick up a couple, and then they drop back to get a great position into the next zone.
It's not even that. I think that, you know, the circles really did play into their favor in a very, very big way. They had the early position, and from there, they just had control of the whole of the west of the military island. And with everyone just being compressed there over and over again, having to go over the water, having to come in from that main section of the military base, it was just every single time the moves favored them in a really, really big way. And finally, they were able to use that skill that they've gained and use the talent that they're displaying and really, really make it work. And so big credit to them. They had some good circles. They absolutely capitalized, and that's exactly what you need to do. High kills, first place. That is a beautiful game, and that should put them in that top spot going forwards in the tournament.
Yeah, certainly. We'll obviously have to see how the next couple of games go this evening, but a very, very well-deserved win. I have to be honest, coming into it, I was maybe expecting a little bit that the team that won would be the one that got a bit lucky with circles, or, you know, had someone that survived all the way to the end by being quite sneaky, and maybe a little bit of a boring game for them. But what we did end up getting, like you say, was a beautiful display of both skill and a little bit of using the luck advantage that they got to allow them the best possible finish, you know, and like you say, a great game coming in from them. But I believe, unless you've got anything else to add about that game, we're just going to throw over to a quick little break while we get our next lobby
I can't wait
set
for the
up.
next one.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait for the next one. Let's go.
Yeah, it's actually pretty exciting, to be fair. I'm quite hyped to get into the next one. So, yeah, man. But hopefully we won't be waiting too long to get that. Take a quick look at all the names that are here, and maybe we'll be seeing a little bit more of them coming in. You know, Kiel and pro players, by the way, going to be battling it out a little bit, and I believe is it Warwick as well in that top spot. They will all be under contention in the next few games, and hopefully they can bring us as equally as exciting some action. We will catch you in just a few moments.